Yeah, you guys aren't gonna believe how I got into this situation. It's a little embarrassing. Anywho, I'm Chili, and this is my attempt at a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Heartgold using only the Boxart Legendary. Rules are simple, no items besides held items in battle, no overleveling, and if a Pokemon faints, they're gone for good. We've changed Ho-Oh for Cyndaquil as Totodile will give us the biggest challenge being paired with our rival. With a gentle nature plus special defense minus defense, not too shabby. Jumping straight into it, we meet Faulkner at the Violet City Gym for our first battle. His Pidgey isn't a threat obviously, but he does get a sand attack off, which is a little infuriating as it drops our accuracy. Faulkner's Pidgeotto comes out, and as we trade a few gusts, tackles, and misses, he pulls out Roost. Also, I think I have a lisp now from how many times I've said Roost during editing. So now we're playing against Stall and go back and forth, chipping him down and Pidgeotto healing back up until we're down to our final turn. And we're saved by Lady Luck yet again, or I should say the first time this run, with a perfectly timed crit to get our first badge. Bugsy isn't much of a threat as we quad resist any stab moves he has, and no hate to the bug types, but they're just not very good. Helios lives a crit quick attack at half after recoil and shell bell recovery, which is going to be the best form of recovery for us as leftovers is locked away behind the postgame. Metapod and Kakuna suffer similar fates, and that's our second gym badge. Whitney is without a doubt one of the scarier gym leaders, not because of her Clefairy, but because of that stupid cow. Naturally outspeeding Helios and hitting pretty hard with Stomp, and the chance to flinch as well makes her a sizable threat. Not sure if it's a minus speed nature on her or the fact we grinded Rattatas inside the Bellsprout Tower for speed EVs, but we actually end up outspeeding. And that's Rollout, a move that's 4 times effective against us, and that I completely forgot she gets. So yeah, that's the end of Helios. Our Greek god of sun couldn't prevail, so he's sent his son to us. Our son of the sun god, Phaethon, that's probably how you pronounce it, comes with a beautiful adamant nature, but it may come back to haunt us. You'll find out soon enough. Back to Whitney, we brought Substitute and Reflect since we were in Goldenrod as well as Roost, shout out Faulkner. So the new plan is use Clefairy as a setup Pokemon so we can have Reflect up, a Substitute, and be at full HP when we face Miltank, which took a little longer than expected. Why I didn't go for Reflect first, I don't know. It's been a year since this was recorded from the time I'm writing the script right now, so cut me a little slack. Anyways, Miltank comes out and we are ready for revenge. Should have named him Thorfinn the way this battle is about to go. After 2 Brave Birds, Phaethon's father has finally been avenged, and that nets us our 3rd gym badge. North of Goldenrod City, I always make a point of visiting Cameron the photographer. He's one of my favorite extra things to do in any Pokemon game. No time to become photogenic now, because it's time for Morty. Ghastly goes down to an extra sensory after using Spite to lower the PP of Substitute. Gengar uses Mean Look but fails since we're behind a Substitute, which you'll see is a pretty common act from the AI whenever there is a Substitute up. Then falls to a Brave Bird, bringing out the first Haunter, who falls to an extra sensory, bringing Morty to his last Pokemon, who suffers the same fate from Phaethon. This Substitute is probably going to be our best friend later in the game. And finally, we can get our experience share from Mr. Pokemon after we give him Shiny Gyarados' Red Scale. After disturbing Chuck's training under the waterfall, he sends out his Primate, who faints to 1 Brave Bird, and now it's Deja Vu with his Poliwrath. So I used Substitute because I was convinced that he would go for Hypnosis, but that wasn't the case for the first turn, or the second turn. So now I put myself in a terrible position as Brave Bird Recoil will kill us. Or we'll hang on with just 1 HP left to our name. Talk about cutting it close, but that washes over us for our 5th badge. For price, we've made a stop back at Goldenrod City to pick up the TM for Fire Blast, as it will come in handy for both the next fights. A Brave Bird takes care of Mr. Seal and prompts Piloswine to come out, who tanks a Fire Blast on what seems to be 1 HP. We use extra sensory as it's guaranteed to hit and won't deal recoil damage, but again he lives on a sliver. Our next Fire Blast connects and is enough to finish him off, but leaves us at half HP after his Ice Fangs. Thankfully, Dugong doesn't have any water-type moves, otherwise we'd be screwed. He tanks a Brave Bird for 3/4 and brings us to crit range with Aurora Beam, and then starts yapping about how he'll bend but never break because of his middle name. After we trade a few Roosts and Sleep Talks, we're back to full HP and fire off a Brave Bird to make Price use his last full restore. 2 more Brave Birds does the trick and grants us our 6th gym badge. Jasmine is unsurprisingly the easiest gym so far. And to make sure it goes that way, we picked up a wide lens from the game corner, adding 10% hit rate to our Fire Blast. 3 of those corrodes the steel type gym leader down and grants us our 7th badge. Atop Goldenrod's radio tower, we meet Team Rocket Executive Archer, who's promising Giovanni's return and really just holding down the fort for him. We get a substitute up against his Houndour and then use Brave Bird to KO. Houndoom comes out and falls to the same fate, which leaves Archer with just his coughing, which gets 1 shot to an extra sensory because I was scared of recoil damage from Brave Bird. And that's Team Rocket defeated, so it's time for our last gym leader, the Dragon type specialist, Claire. You'll see we brought Light Screen because the plan is similar to Whitney's gym. Set up a substitute, Light Screen, and use Roost to be at full HP against her Gyarados, so when Kingdra comes in, Hydro Pump won't kill. This is also my first time actually getting value out of Ho-Oh's ability, Pressure. Since the most damage Gyarados can do to us is with Dragon Rage, we just have to stall out 5 turns so his PP will run out, and then we can get behind a substitute with full HP, and our Light Screen will still be up. And that's exactly what we do, except I guess I wasn't paying attention to how many turns I stalled after setting up Light Screen, because after our Brave Bird finishes off Gyarados, Claire sends out her ace Kingdra on the turn our Light Screen fades away. We get it set back up, and thankfully she misses Hydro Pump, which would have left us rather helpless. And since we were intimidated by Gyarados dropping our attack by 1 stage, it takes 2 Brave Birds to KO her Kingdra, which leaves Claire with just her 2 Dragonairs, which go down to a single Brave Bird each, and a little longer for the second one because we didn't want another Poliwrath situation. So we healed back up to make sure we wouldn't go down to recoil damage, and that's the 8th gym badge. On to our final stop, the Pokemon League. Our first member of the Elite Four is Will, the Psychic type specialist. He leads his first Xatu, which gets 1 shot to our Brave Bird, which brings out Slowbro, who gave us some trouble after we used Substitute and he started using Curse to boost both his defense and attack stats. We fished for a burn from Sacred Fire to half his attack, but looking back now, it was pointless as Slowbro has no physical moves anyways. And after a Brave Bird brings him just out of range of full restoring, we can finish him off with a crit to guarantee the KO. Jinx is next and is easily taken care of with a super effective Sacred Fire, and Will's Executor doesn't stand a chance from one either. His ace and second Xatu is taken care of by 1 last Brave Bird, 1 down, 4 more fights to go. Next is Koga, the Poison type specialist, and a great matchup for us, mainly because the best thing he can do is poison us, but we've got Substitute still. His lead Ariados gets KO'd easily by a Sacred Fire, risking the mischance so we wouldn't take any recoil damage. Fortress is next and is really there as a time waster as a quad effective Sacred Fire burns him to a crisp. Muck comes out, and since he has Toxic and I doubt we can KO in 1 turn, we use Substitute instead. Turns out I was a human calculator as Muck lives a Brave Bird on a Sliver and breaks our sub. We set up another sub on Koga's full restore turn, and heal back up with Roost as Muck yet again hits Gunk Shot to break our sub. We decide to risk it and go for Brave Bird, hoping we got a low roll last time, and looks like we did as this time it KOs. Next, Koga sends out his Crobat and he uses a double team to raise his evasiveness. We hit a Sacred Fire to bring him to half after his held Citrus Berry. After raising his evasiveness yet again with double team, we miss a Brave Bird, but thankfully the next turn we connect and KO, but bring ourselves to a 3rd after recoil damage. Venomoth is last, so we use Substitute, as our astounding special defense denies it breaking. We Roost to heal back up for our next Brave Bird, and our sub takes yet another Psychic. Now we can Brave Bird safely and win the battle. 3rd is Bruno, the Fighting type specialist. A very straightforward battle, as super effective Brave Bird pretty much just walls him, except for his Onix. Hitmontop falls first after hitting a quick attack for some chip damage, so in comes Onix. We picked up the TM for Earthquake on Victory Road, and that brings him to a quarter as he rocks us, literally, with Rock Slide all the way down to a quarter ourselves. After Bruno's full restore, another Earthquake brings him to the red as he just sets up a Sandstorm. And finally, a third puts this Rock Snake into the dirt. Always confused me how Onix could have a lower attack stat than Oddish, a literal weed, but hey, it saved us here. Continuing on, we use Sacred Fire on Hitmonchan to KO because I wanted to be as healthy as possible for when Machamp comes in. As a Brave Bird will guarantee a KO, but I need to watch the recoil damage. So now Bruno sends out his final Pokemon, Hitmonlee. We used Sacred Fire just to be sure we wouldn't faint to recoil damage from Brave Bird. Overkill, maybe, but better safe than sorry. Last of the Elite Four is Karen, the Dark-type specialist. And I can't call her a Karen because her lead is my favorite evolution and one of my favorite Pokemon out of all of them. Actually, I take that back already. She is a Karen because using Double Team to raise your evasiveness is not cool at all. After using Sacred Fire to bring Umbreon back down to a quarter with another burn, he goes for another Double Team. Thankfully, we don't miss our Brave Bird and bring Umbreon down, which brings out her ace Houndoom, who goes down to a single Brave Bird. Murkrow is sent out next, so we'll use a Roost to heal back up to full as her Pluck breaks our sub with a critical hit, prompting us to set up another the next turn. Her Pluck doesn't break sub this time, and we KO with a Sacred Fire to keep gaining HP from Shellbell. Down to only 2 Pokemon left, Karen sends out Gengar. Thankfully, with the level and speed EV's advantage, we can outspeed and one-shot with a Brave Bird. Last is Vileplume, who, like Karen just said, is backed into a corner. One Sacred Fire nets us the KO and finishes our last Elite Four battle. Now our biggest challenge awaits us, Lance. First of his name, protector of the 9 regions, the unburnt, breaker of chains, father of dragons, the champion. So we switched our moves around, bringing Substitute, Sacred Fire, Thunderbolt, and Reflect. And the plan is get Reflect set up on Gyarados for Aerodactyl because he will easily outspeed and one-shot with Rock Slide. Gyarados falls to a T-Bolt after dropping our attack stat, and in comes Aerodactyl, who misses his first Rock Slide as we get a burn from Sacred Fire having his attack. And he misses again. Mind you, Rock Slide is 90% accurate, so 2 misses in a row is the most amazing thing that has happened this run. Lance's first Dragonite comes out and we get a substitute up, and he goes for Thunder Wave, and this is where you can really cheat Gen 4 AI. Since Dragonite doesn't see a KO and sees we have a healthy status, he will keep using Thunder Wave even though it won't affect us behind a substitute. And with a crit to keep him out of healing range, the first dragon is slain, bringing out his second one also with Thunder Wave, so it's time for more cheats. After a barrage of more Thunderbolts, Dragonite is brought low, which causes Lance to use his first full restore on him. We land a critical hit on his first one at full HP to bring him to half and also paralyze him, which doesn't really do anything since he's only using Thunder Wave anyways. A few more and he's back to healing range, which leads us to an unforeseen problem, power points. Our only 2 attacking moves have gotten devastatingly low. Thankfully, Sacred Fire has a 50% chance to burn, and we can chip him away with that while spamming Substitute and Reflect. Stalling out a few more turns using Substitute and getting Reflect up for his actual attacking Dragonite, and this Dragonite has finally fainted. So now if you'll see the PP count of Sacred Fire and Thunderbolt, we should be in the clear as long as we can get a burn. But we miss our first, and since he's locked into Outrage, we can spam Substitute until Confusion hits and hope for some good luck. Like, we haven't already got some, but we're gonna need more. Which we don't get as he sets up Safeguard, preventing us from burning him for 5 turns. So we get another Substitute up and then a Reflect since ours were off, and now our only hope is to fire off some Thunderbolts and hope for multiple crits to get enough damage before our PP runs out. We get one, but it's not enough, and his Citrus Berry restores his health back to a quarter after hitting himself. And this is where our last and most important mistake happened. Thunderbolt is a guaranteed 2-hit KO on Lance's last Pokemon Charizard, but we used 1 on Dragonite instead of stalling Safeguard and hoping for a burn. So we finish off his Dragonite with our last Sacred Fire, and in comes his last Pokemon Charizard. which leaves us with only one Thunderbolt remaining, so our only chance is the luckiest crit of our lives, and we do not get it. Looking back now, it really pains me at how this turned out and how I should have stopped and thought of a different strategy after Aerodactyl went down. But to be honest, I didn't think I'd make it past him. And as we accept our defeat, I want to thank you all for watching, and please subscribe if you're new. Follow me on TikTok, it's the same tag. Leave a like and comment which game I should attempt next for a Boxart Nuzlocke.